Welcome back. We have author Ruth Verbree joining us on the show today. She has written this book. It's called My Life with a Cop, How to Survive the Ride. Ruth, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Susan.
Yes. First thing right off the bat, marrying a first responder means you have a very good chance you're not going to be married in 10 years.
That is very correct.
And you made it.
Yes, and there was many ups and downs along the way, but we survived the ride.
And this ride has taken you on many journeys. You have lived in Hope, Prince George, Kamloops, probably other areas I don't know about, transferring all the time. And then you decided after all of these years, your husband is now retired, that you would write this book. So let's talk about the book.
Well, the book, My Life with a Cop, was something I'd always wanted to do. It was kind of a bucket list thing. I know that's kind of a funny term, but because so many people they don't survive going through a whole career in the RCMP or any career with a first responder. It was a desire of mine to write it after he retired, and my husband and I had signed up for some courses with a company called New Peaks, which are educational transformational courses. And at one of the conferences that I was at, I heard about Raymond Aaron, his 10-10-10 publishing program. He talked about how I could sign up, do his modules, write a book. And my husband looked at me and he said, "This is for you. You better do it." So I ran up to the front, joined, and I wrote my book.
Wow. Right off the top of the book, in the first couple of pages, it says how to survive the ride, and there's 10 sort of points that you allude to as you go along in your book. Let's talk about a couple of them. Be in love with the person, not the uniform, for example.
Yeah, well, that's a real big one. Because so many people, like, they see a uniform and they fall in love with a guy. And it wasn't like that with Robert and I.
You met him at the bank. He came in and told you, "I have to interview you because I think your yellow car might have been involved in an accident." And you were thinking, according to the book, "No, I wasn't even close to the area," but that was his way of trying to ask you out on a date.
Exactly. And so he asked me for my number and I said, "It's in the book."
Wow.
So that was quite the statement right there. But he pursued me, and eventually we went on our first date. And it just continued on from there. But I think just not falling in love with that uniform was very helpful to me, because I wasn't, mesmerized with the uniform.
Yeah, no, you fell in love with the person.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of the other points here. Looking at every challenge from a positive perspective, that's hard to do.
It's very hard to do, because we all struggle with ups and downs in our life. We all have hardships. It's coming out victorious is what makes your marriage survive. And going through them together, finding ways to be thankful through every hardship. And that is very difficult, but we really tried to do that.
What about transferring all the time? You hear about RCMP members having to transfer. Your kids had to keep being uprooted and going to different schools. That can't be easy. Having a husband that comes home and says, "You can't even begin to understand my day," that can't be easy on you?
No, I think a really hard part in surviving the ride with children that are transferring, that was really hard on our children. And we many times after we had moved, we went, what did we do? I think we made the wrong choice. And but you have to keep going. So we actually would talk with our children about, let's be thankful now. What are some ways we can be thankful? And we would make them say things that they were thankful for, because we still had our family. And we found the beauty wherever we were.
And so now your husband has retired and you are living in Kamloops, and you've embarked on your own adventures. You are now the owner of Frankly Coffee downtown on Lansdowne Street with your daughter.
Right, yes.
Casey.
Yep.
And that's in itself just very amazing that you had the opportunity to sort of do that. But in a way, it's almost like it's your turn to do something, because you have been giving and sacrificing a lot.
Yeah, and actually that's an interesting point, because after he retired, he crashed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress, and during the time that Casey and I were thinking about going into this coffee shop was when he was very ill. And I would talk to him about it, but we had to make many decisions by ourselves, because he couldn't handle the stress or handle even talking about a business. And so in my heart, I knew having something to look forward to and getting up and getting dressed and getting going would help him recover from PTSD, and that is exactly what it did.
And so this book, you said, is sort of a launch pad into your next adventure goal, and that is constructing sort of a support group or a website based around people who need support with post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're working on our website. It's ready to launch next month, and it's called PTSDbattleplan.com, and we're hoping that we can help people with PTSD, any first responder, paramedics, policemen, emergency workers, nurses, doctors. So many people struggle with post-traumatic stress, and it's finally being recognized in our society today. And it's not, they're not weak to say that they have post-traumatic stress. It's actually, it takes courage to say that.
Absolutely, it does.
So we're hoping that we can really help anyone that's struggling with PTSD.
I think it's fantastic. We're out of time already, if you can stand it. These segments go by so quickly. You are having a book signing, though, tomorrow. That information is on the screen at Chapters at 1:30 for people who would like to come and meet you. What I love about your book, Ruth, is that it's very easy to read. It's very relatable. Anybody who is married to a first responder is going to appreciate the sentiments that have gone into this book. So I think you've done a great job here.
Thanks, Susan.
Yeah, and good luck with the website. I think that's also a very valuable tool for a lot of people in the community. If you would like to meet Ruth, of course, tomorrow at Chapters at 1:30, you can do that as well. Website, mylifewithacop.com. We're back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.